It does feel unfair and it does feel kind of horrible at times.
Are public schools doing enough to provide gender-neutral bathrooms? News 12 digs into this much debated, controversial topic that impacts every public school in New York. Right now, state laws are somewhat hazy, but essentially require schools to allow students to use the bathroom of their choice. But what happens when those choices leave students feeling exposed to bullying, health problems, and even reprimands for being late to class? Is it still a choice? Tara Rosenblum brings us a special report, The Bathroom Battle.
I'm 15, almost 16.
The morning rush is on.
We don't have a lot of time in the morning.
For Spirit Goodwin.
My 6 alarms go off. I sleep through them.
But a few gulps, cuddles, and minutes later, it's off to school.
Don't forget your lunch.
I gotta get my shoes on. Mommy, come on.
But you know we're not telling the story because of a typical teenager's hurried morning routine, right? We're here
It's really hard.
because Spirit is a trailblazer.
I don't use he or she pronouns because I don't identify as male or female.
The first openly genderqueer student
I have a Make America Gay Again sticker on.
at Sleepy Hollow High School.
What's it like to question your gender identity?
It's really difficult. I remember when I was younger standing in front of the mirror after taking a shower and just looking at myself and not feeling like I was me. I knew I wasn't a girl, but I also knew I wasn't a boy.
Spirit School is one of the most diverse populations in affluent Westchester County, but is perhaps best known for its most famous alumnus.
We have a suicide rate that's out of control.
Caitlyn Jenner, who attended school, ran track, and played football here back in the 1960s as Bruce Jenner. In fact, an award is still given out here in his honor today.
He was a hell of a decathlete.
So you might assume this would be a school particularly sensitive to a student with unique needs. But Spirit says as hard as school officials try, there is still much work to be done.
You have to kind of figure out which bathroom you're gonna go in, which bathroom will be the least amount of bullying and harassment.
Spirit is talking about the 2 faculty bathrooms on campus that were recently converted to gender-neutral stalls.
Those are so far separated from the general classrooms. It takes forever to get there, and then you get in trouble for being in the bathroom for too long.
A stressful situation Spirit thinks could be resolved with the addition of more single-stall bathrooms spread throughout campus.
They just don't want to because it's such a controversial thing.
Controversy certainly not unique to Westchester County.
They're trying to look at what they're doing.
A Facebook post that went viral last fall appears to show a Minnesota transgender teenager being interrupted by school staff as she's sitting on a toilet.
I'm so scared and violated.
While nothing like that appears to have happened here at home, the incident reigniting a highly charged national debate over whether students should use the bathroom based on their gender at birth or the gender they most identify with. Under President Obama's administration, public schools were ordered to let students use the restroom of their choice, but the Trump administration revoked that policy, leaving it up to individual schools and states to grapple with a question that has no easy answer. You have to look in 2 places to find out the policies here in New York. Back in 2015, the State Board of Ed issued a special guidance stating that unisex bathrooms should be made available but never forced on students. However, it wasn't until last year that it became a violation under the state's bullying laws to deny restrooms based on gender identity.
It's one of the biggest issues our youth face.
Lisa Scott runs the county's only education center geared specifically to LGBTQ youth. Center Lane.
If you can't go to the bathroom at school, you often will choose not to go to school. And the dropout rate is higher than the rate for straight identified kids. We also know that our trans identified youth have a huge problem with urinary tract infections and bladder infections because they hold in their urine because they can't expel it safely.
According to new data just released by the CDC, nearly 2% of high school students in America identify as transgender, with more than 1/3 of them attempting suicide in the past year alone, which is why Scott says the laws need to be tweaked to be made crystal clear.
I do not believe that the language in this document provides the clarity that schools need to adequately protect and center their trans-identified students.
To find out if she's right, our investigative team took an in-depth look over several months to see how many Westchester schools are making the grade as it relates to bathroom access, and found several districts have room for improvement. 8 out of 40 of them lack set-aside gender-neutral stalls, forcing students to seek out staff bathrooms during school hours. While that's not the case at Sleepy Hollow High School, school leaders there did not want to talk on camera about it. But in White Plains, where you'll see plenty of these, their school superintendent was happy too.
We have gender-neutral restrooms all the way down to the elementary level. We're real clear about it. For me, it's a civil rights issue. This is the way we do things in New York because it's good for kids.
Kids like Spirit,
It does feel kind of horrible at times.
an accidental advocate,
If someone who identifies the same way as me doesn't have to go through all that,
in the bathroom battle.
I think that would be amazing.
Tara Rosenblum, News 12.
The bathroom battle continues tomorrow night with more supporters and critics sharing their concerns, and we'll also reveal the results of our online polls. Meantime, for extended interviews with the people you just heard from, you can head to our website, news12.com, and click on the Turn to Tara tab.